I don't feel nervous, but I guess I should. It's been a while. I guess when you've been doing something this long, you have a whole lot to be nervous about. Okay, can everybody see the screen with the site on it? Just want to make sure that it's been a few years since I've done this. First of all, welcome to everybody. And after I've done a couple of these, I'm sure that it will get easier for me and I'll be a little bit more comfortable. Last night I was thinking about something before we did this today, and I was thinking about, some of the things that I talk about. And I wanted to start off by saying something to everyone, and so you could think about this, and it meant a lot to me once I realized that all my failures over the years were actually things that were blessings in disguise. And I keep little quotes, and I found this one, and I thought it was pretty cool. And it's experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. So I want you to think about that when you're doing this. When you new people who struggle, every time you do something, every time you get stopped out for a loss, you're gaining experience. So the question becomes, really, is what you're doing worth the experience that you're getting? And I think that that's what is so uncertain and unsure for so many people. They spend years trying to do this, and they're gaining experience, but is it? Are they learning anything from it? And I think that 95% of what people try to do in this, they don't realize it. They're gaining experience, but it's really leading to nowhere. So, what I want to say is this. I wouldn't be putting your money in my pocket if I didn't feel in my heart that the experience that you're gaining here is going to be worth it to you. So, that's really what it's all about for me. For the people that come and stay a month and go, I want to do the best I can for them. But for those of y'all that really come in and give your best and try to give the 3-6 months and stick for the whole year, I want it to happen for you. So that's what I want you to know, that you're gaining experience here, and it's experience that over time really will lead you to a place that made all that experience worth it to you. So I just want to leave that thought with you as we start. We're going to get into the charts here in a minute, and we're going to do something or things that I had never done in a webinar. And if I sound a little nervous, it's been a while. The website, we're just going to go through this real briefly. Mike's the expert on this. I'm still learning as I go, but the website is still evolving. And we've got some things that took for, we had to have the best IT guy. You guys have no idea who's behind a lot of this, that I've known for 10 years, and he's just unbelievable, and nothing the guy can't do. I mean, it just blows my mind. But, I just want everybody to be able to use what we have and understand how to use it, because that was the problem with the way that we've done things for 10 years. It wasn't that we didn't try, and it wasn't that we didn't have good information. It was just impossible for people to get from A, B, C, D in a logical way. And my biggest fear was having that same thing happen here. And so we have so many cool things. It's not a question of if, it's just when we get it perfectly lined out, A, B, C, D. And we're not far from that. So let me give you an example, the tutorials in my section. Many of you noticed that Mike and Kevin seem to have their act together a little bit better than me. Well, the reason for that is that I struggled a lot with trying to figure out how to take all the information and make it available, but to make it available so that brand new people that had never even heard of us would be able to come in and get it. And I think what I ended up doing, I don't think I failed in any way. I just think that once again, it's hard for somebody like me that has all this knowledge and all this experience to be able to literally go back and think like a brand new person. So once we launched and I'm getting feedback from the brand new people, then I'm able to do, and so what's going to happen here very soon is there is going to be, and I'm going to show you in the charts today, what this is going to also, I'm going to demonstrate to you what is going to happen here. So in my section, all of these old things that are very good, and it's very important that you take your time, at some point to watch. I'm going to take what I feel is absolutely imperative that you do see, brand new people see, and I'm going to make it as simple and as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as I can. And then, but at the same time, I have got to start making it more of a step-by-step process for those of you that want to day trade. I understand that some of you guys, you're just not going to, I'm going to try to show you today, prove to you once again that you really don't need to do that. But if it's something that you want to, I'm going to show you the way to go about it in a way that will work for you. So the website, what I wanted to make sure is that I got on tape here, this first webinar, is that very soon this will be much easier to follow from a step-by-step process. And new people especially will benefit from that. And Mike, anything else you want to say or type in there or whatever that you want me to touch on before I move on from that? Once again, you guys can seek and ask questions about any of this. But, okay, so once again, just ask questions if you have anything that you're not sure about. Once again, the forum, guys, I mean, that's where I'm comfortable. Mike, has pounded into my head for a year. Jim, it's the blog, it's the blog, it's the blog. And see, I'm just not a blog guy. So it's taking me a while to get used to that. So what Mike has done for me and is doing for me is Mike is going to make my blog areas, he's giving me video like this. Instead of a true blog area, he's giving me a way to do videos and not have to type so much. Okay, so pretty soon all of these will in some way have the ability for me to do this, and when that happens, then I'm going to be able to be like a race car instead of a junker, because my problem all along with the way that we did things for 10 years is with one finger, it's just impossible for me to do people justice, unless I can just get on the phone with them. So this will very soon be all of these sections, all of these blog areas will very soon have audio players, and it's going to make it much, much easier for me to do things. And then we're going to do the real estate thing next week. I got some cool things planned for that. So let me see if there's anything else I want to point out here. Don't think so. All right, now let's talk about this. Now, here in a second, I'm going to ask you guys to start thinking right now about I won't even put a limit on it, but start thinking about the pairs. Those of you that like day trading, the London wrap over to the New York session and the New York session. What are the pairs that you like to trade during that session? If you're trading a 15-minute or a 1-hour chart and it's just something you like to do. I just want to see that list. I know what the list is probably going to be, but I'd like to see that rather than me just pick one. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, well, let's get to that. We're going to do that at the end. But let's just start with the basics. You're a brand new trader. All you've ever done is indicators. This is all you've ever been taught. This is it. I mean, you've been taught that when MACD crosses below 80, you do this. Well, you can take any indicator on here, and I've trust me, I've used them all. I love looking at new indicators. You should see my custom indicator list. I love doing this. And you know why? Because I'm always looking for a way to refine what I've already put together. So my whole this is my life. This is what I enjoy doing, sitting around late at night trying to figure out how can I get better. And when you do that for this many years, you tend to figure out a few things. And so, but even after all these years, I still haven't found anything. And if anybody's aware of anything, please let me know. But I still haven't found anything that, when it really comes down to it, that I have found out of all of those indicators, those EAs that you can see in MT4 at the bottom when where you can roll through them. I haven't found anything yet to add to simply a divergence way of looking at things. Let me go to a weekly chart. I haven't found anything yet that enables me to do things in a better way than simply understanding what happens when price does this, and if I see divergence, especially on a long-term chart, can I watch for the reversal? Here's the other thing about divergence. Divergence is useless, absolutely useless, unless you have a way of understanding when it's a true reversal time. Because what happens is this. Look at all the divergence. Here's one. Here's one. Okay, nothing's reversed that I can see. So every single one of these were false signals, just like any other indicator. Okay, so what can we do if we're looking at a long-term chart and we're trying to figure out, and this is just one thing here, guys. We're going to move on to some other things. But over the years, I'm like, what can I do to figure out a way to find that real reversal when it really happens? And then maybe, just maybe, I can catch this. Okay, maybe I can somehow, some way find an entry that can get my initial push below my entry to a point to where I can relax, and then let's see if this happens. So that's the only way. Unless you can find something that can give you that chance, then the divergence is useless. So we start with this, and we can see the divergence here. Now, did it actually move down? Yeah, a little bit, but was it really a trend reversal? No. So what I started to do was I started to notice these things happen. These, what some people would call breakouts, but I kept noticing that they kept coming back, and they kept coming back. And then I thought, well, okay, they tend to come back to big round numbers. Well, that's cool. And then, of course, like everybody else, I think, oh, I figured it out. I'm a wealthy man now. There's no question about it. It doesn't happen. You have to keep finding ways to make that entry a 90% sure thing. And so I had finally gotten to a point where I had blown the last account, and I had said to myself, okay, this is enough. This is stupid. So, I just said, I'm just gonna, and I know a lot of y'all have heard the story. I quit, and I went to demo, and I said, until I can go 6 months and go 90% and know for a fact that I know what I'm doing, and I'm not trading with real money anymore. So I started saving my money, and I started working at it, and I just started trying to understand things. And it didn't take me long, but when the internet started and I had the availability to indicators and stuff, that just started frustrating me, because it didn't take me long to see that it was lagging. All it would do would get me in an entry that would put me in a drawdown, and then ended up being a false type deal. So I started noticing price coming back here. And of course, I'm still trying to learn, and I'm trying to follow people that are doing things that make sense to me. So I started learning from Todd Mitchell. I started reading what his information on price action and bar confirmations. And so I started using and doing things and refining things in my own way until, finally, after a couple of years, I had finally gotten to a point where, number one, I could find a place that price was doing something on a pretty consistent basis. These pivot zones, they were pretty consistent. And even from a touch point, think about this for a second. Let me zoom in. If you have a big round number here, and this is a weekly chart, if you took every single touch on the next flip, here's the resistance, pops through, comes back. How many times will this give you some kind of profit, even if it does give you a drawdown? Will it work? Will the touch work regardless of drawdown? Let's say here's where price popped through. Okay, let me zoom in some more. Here's where price popped through. Here's where it stopped, rejected, and here's where it came back, and it popped through, and then it came back, and it's obviously, there's a decent trend line here going up. Regardless of where you put your stop, how often will it actually bounce off of here and give you a decent profit? How many pips is this? 580. All right, well, that's all good and fine, but when you're trading with a $50 or $100 or a $500 account, 580 pips doesn't mean a whole lot, does it? Unless you risk your whole account, because you don't know where price is going to draw down to. And then I started noticing that if you drop down in time frames, that these bar lows, sometimes these previous bar lows, as in this case, would give you a place to logically put your stop if you were just taking touch trades. Okay, I want to make sure everybody follows what I'm saying. I haven't said a word about bar confirmations yet. I'm talking strictly about pivot zones, big round numbers where price is likely to start doing this kind of thing or this kind of thing. So the first thing I noticed was this happening, and then the next thing I noticed was how often did price actually flip that first time. And then I started paying attention to what happened the second time it came back. Was it more reliable then? Was it more likely to do this? In other words, first time back, and then holding, and then second time. So I started doing practicing on that. How often did that happen? How reliable was that? Okay, so look right here. You could have taken 4 trades off of that, and everyone was a winner. And I promise you, first time you try that, you're going to lose. It's the way the universe does things. I don't know why. It's just weird. You will sit at a chart for a week and you will see this a million times, and the first time you try it, the first time you see 1, 2, 3, and then you go and do the fourth one, bam, you're dead. It happens. And since people don't have any experience mostly to start with, they don't know what to do. They just don't have a clue as to what to do. So then I started trying to pay attention to what could I do on these pivot zones to try to say to me, okay, this is going to work. This is not just a guess. This is going to work. Well, then that started the next quest. What could I do? And at that time I was using Divergence a lot. And so in this case right here, I ran across Martin Pring and his pin bars. Now, the way I do things and the way he does things are not really the same. And you'll find that out if you ever read his books. And it's just because, I just refine things. So I started looking for a way to confirm the pivot zones, when price got to the pivot zones, trying to confirm what I was seeing. All right. So here's another one here at the 188 level. All right. So in this example, it's a true pivot zone. Here's resistance. Here's support. This one didn't really hold, but here's resistance. So I started looking for bar confirmations, and I started finding things like this. I started seeing this happen, these pin bars, what I call pin bars. All right, if you go look at the actual definition of it by Martin, you will see some similarities, but you won't. But what you will always hear is me say, first of all, thank you, Martin. Thank you, Todd, and everybody else that was a help to me. So I thought to myself, okay, I see these pivot zones. I see price respects them. They just do. That cannot be debated. The fact that price respects these at a very high rate, a very high percentage of success, cannot be debated. All right, and I've proved that for 10 years. That's never even questioned with me. It used to be, it's not anymore. So I started to try to find these bar confirmations at these areas and see if I could find a way to get myself into a situation that did this. And I was able to do that. Okay, I was able to do that. But here was the problem. The problem was that this happened. It would break or it would pull back, and so where did I enter? It just never ends. I've gotten probably further than 90% of every trader ever gets, and this was many years ago, and I was excited, but I still wasn't confident that I wasn't going to blow another account. And because of the simple fact that whenever I tried it, I could get this. I could get this move to this. And then I started noticing the bar lows and the bar highs. That when I went to a lower time frame, they would become pronounced pivot zones. And we'll do that in a second. So, but on these longer time frames, I saw these initial moves going to these areas, and then I thought, well, that's a fluke. And so then I spent weeks, months, verifying with pen and paper. Where did the bar have to be? Did the bar have to break? Break meaning break the bottom of the bar, this one. If it did break it, if it came back, if I got a drawdown, how often was it likely to reach that next area? Because I noticed them. All right, so I started to practice it, and I practiced it, and most of the time, what I found happen was the situation where it almost always happens. Even if you're in a strong trend, you get bars covering bars. I mean, here we're going up, but every single bar is covering every single bar. So you're in the trade and you're finding success, and for finally you look down and you see your account making money and you don't want to lose it. So you're in the trade, and I'm down here, exactly where I see, okay, just from my chart time I can see that that's going to probably turn back on me. So what do? Do I take my profit, or do I put my stop here, or do I leave my stop here? And so what happened was, even though I could do this at a pretty high rate, I would still end up losing my money because I would wait because I didn't have an account big enough that this made enough of a profit that I said to myself, no, I'm not going to watch that turn into zero. I'm just not. So I started working on this, and then other things would happen on this. How often would price not get here and then pull back? All right. So then I started doing things like this. I started trying to find ways of finding confluence. How could I refine this and make this more reliable? And the goal was this. The goal was trying to get here to that first place, and at the very worst, lose no money, and then have that moment or that trade where I got this, where I got here, and then got below this area where I knew. Now look what happened here. If you had been trading this and you had said, I'm going to trade a touch trade off of this. Now remember, we're on weekly. If we went to daily, I can almost guarantee you that had some kind of pullback, and probably back to these and maybe even these. Okay? Can't guarantee it. We can go look. But if you just had played weekly here, it got here. If you just ignored any other chart, you didn't freak out. It kept moving, it kept moving, it kept moving, and then you end up in a situation where you make 1,800 pips, and you figured it out. But here's the thing: you can't go off trading every single thing you see. You've got to get to a point where you recognize the best visually from experience. I'm going to say it again. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Okay? And that's what happened to me. And that's what's going to happen to you. And so I began a quest. I was on a mission to not overtrade, and then to get my account to a point where a move of 170 pips meant to me enough that I was going to wait. There was no way I was going to trade just anything. And what do we all do when we have small accounts? We trade everything. It's just the way we do it. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't, especially with a small account, and that was certainly the case with me. And so what I started trying to do was find ways to keep me in a trade that got past that first point to this point. And then I was able to do, and I have no idea what's coming, but let's make sure we don't confuse anybody. All right, we've got that there on weekly. We've got this back here. And you know what? In another webinar, when you guys want, we can talk about when price pulls back to these areas. Let's say we've got a beautiful pin bar and price pulls back into here and it hasn't broken here yet. Can there be some beautiful entries by doing that? Yes, absolutely. It's just a variation, and it's just something you learn from experience and practice. So in the Where is Price Going training series method, with the old site, I only could do it one way, and that was the simplest way I knew how, and that was to simply say, remembering that we're practicing, and remembering that we're not trying to find every perfect setup. I want to show you how well this acts, that this will work for you. So the whole thought process on the simple way of doing the training method was simply go ahead and take the break of the bar, the short break of this bar, and the first target being either a big round number, which is probably going to be a 50 right here, and or the first area of strong resistance and support, or bar lows. And we can clearly see that here. Bar highs, bar lows. You look at a daily, you can, if you're making notes right now on this, make a note of 184, and when we go to daily, we're going to look at it. So, you could have just blindfolded yourself and said, to heck with it. This, I don't know how I can get a better setup. Look at all the resistance. Look at the bar, and so it should go here. Now, here's another thing. Do you guys think that maybe when price got to that bar low right there at around the 184.50 on a smaller time frame chart, that it probably did a little? You don't think that it just blew right through and right here the first time? See, this is what we can do now with the new site. This is what has always been difficult for new people. Even though this is simple to see that it works, people have a hard time knowing what to do when if they're watching a chart and then they flip over to a smaller time frame and it's showing them a pullback that they don't necessarily see unless they're actually watching the bar move up and down here, and it freaks them out and they don't know what to do. So let's look at daily. Where is my, hold on a minute. Sometimes I lose myself. Find out where I'm at. November. Okay. Where'd it go? Here we go. Okay. Now. Okay, so that's pointing at where the weekly was. All right, so let's do this. I want to make sure nobody's confused. I want to make absolutely sure nobody's confused. And what's the easiest way to do that? Let's do this. Let's leave that there. And let's first of all find out our date here. All right, that's 11:15, and that's 11:22. Okay, so let's go back to daily. And let's find where that started. Okay, so roughly in here. All right, now let's also go back real quick and let's put a bar at the bottom of that pin bar. And then let me get rid of this so I don't confuse people. Okay. Stick with me here. Been a while since I've done this. All right, so here we are on daily. And okay. Now, here's the break. All right, here's the break on daily. Okay, so here's on weekly. Here was our all that resistance that we were looking at. So here's the break. Here's the break point of the pin bar. All right, so we get a daily break, and it goes. Remember those bar lows that we talked about? At probably the The 50 area. Okay, so once again, the bar, you're looking at weekly and it breaks. And so do you wait for another confirmation to get into that is the question. Do you wait for some type of confirmation to somehow verify that the break of the bar is good rather than just taking a straight break? If you go to daily, what's going to happen is that you're going to start seeing this, and you're going to freak out, you're going to get into profit, and then price is going to pull back on you. It's going to happen every single time. All right? So my suggestion is this on doing this. And here in a second, what I want to do is I want to go from a daily to a 4-hour to a 1-hour and to a 15-minute and show you the best way to day trade, and it's in a way that you can actually practice your day trading. All right, so once again, if you go to weekly, it looks pretty easy, does it not? It looks pretty easy. Goes right to where it's supposed to, but it comes right back to your bar. All right, so now it comes straight back down, and then it breaks on through. So is there any daily bar confirmation in here to keep you in the trade? All right, and so when you see me following a where is price going series, what you're going to see me do in the simplest form is you're going to see me predict the first point and the second point. And then if you follow that and you drop down to a lower time frame, you're gonna see different pictures. So what I want to do is with the training method, I want to get you guys to where you see that not only can you just find the setup on the larger time frame, you can refine your entries off of your dailies at any point in here, and you can use it to manage it also. All right, like we've done 100 times in the series, using the bar highs, the bar lows to manage it all the way through. So let's do this. You gave me some ideas. Let's go to Euro, and let's look at, and I want to get rid of all of these, and I'm going to show you how, and we're going to do this live at some point. We'll do it live together during the sessions. But let's look at it daily. Now let's say you're looking for a good day to day trade. All right, and the only way that you're going to ever get good at that is to find, once again, the best place to take your entries. Something that tells you that this is the place that it can happen for you. All right, so let's look at this chart and let's see if we see a good daily setup that would have said to us, okay, maybe tomorrow might be a good day to watch for, that might be a good day to sit down and maybe see what happens during the London or the New York session. So let me look here. In fact, we don't even have to necessarily find a bar confirmation. Let's just find a good level of support and resistance. Okay. Let's take this. Here's, and I have no idea what's going to happen. I keep getting my AVG coming up. I have no clue what's going to happen here, but let's do this. Okay, let's say that you saw this right here, the 2-day pin bar, and let's say you wanted to the next day that you wanted to sit down at the beginning of the London session, and you wanted to watch and see if you could find an entry from a day trading standpoint. And you know, I keep getting so many things going through my head. You can also do it this way. You can also do it this way. Let's say that once again you're looking for a decent day-to-day trade, all right? And you see you see a bar like this, you see the pin bar in an uptrend, and you know that maybe if price pulls back here, that it might not be a bad idea to take a look if price gets back there. All right, I wonder if that might be, okay, there's roughly the 50 area. Didn't make it all the way back, but it's close. So we're watching this, and let's see what's here. All right, look at there, exactly the 1300 level right here. Now, let me get rid of this. And once again, I'm really fighting, not getting complicated here, knowing that new people are here. And I'm going to take care of that in those videos. Let's somehow get rid of that and make sure we know what we're looking at here. Let me put an arrow. Okay, now, and let's put a bar at the bottom of that right there. Okay, so we see this happen. We're on a daily chart, and the date is 9/18 of 15. All right, so once again, I got to make sure I get back to my chart here. 9/18/15. 9/18/15. Okay. Hang on. 21. We know what that was, don't we? We know what day that was. Okay, 21, right there. Okay, so here is our big round number. All right, so the 2-day pin has ended. Here's the bottom of it. Interesting. That's interesting, is it not? See, I always see stuff like that. So what are we watching for? Well, normally if we are doing just going to watch a daily, then what are we going to do? If we're doing the normal where is price going series, what are we doing? We're going to play a break of this bar, correct? And where is going to be our first area of suspicion that it's going to go or find trouble? Right here, which is exactly where it went. Okay, let me point that out first. We're going to go step by step. Okay, 50. All right, now where's it going next? It made it there. Where is it going next? Do you think it might make that bar low? Yeah. And you know, this ain't hocus pocus. I mean, you guys have seen this time and time again. And if you spend any chart time, you know it works. All right, so it keeps going, and then it finally makes, where would you think that it might say, I've had enough? I've had enough. Well, right where it did. Okay? And then it comes back, and once again, not to complicate things, what do we got here? What are these two bars? Same thing, 2-day pin bar. Okay? If it breaks long, where is it going? Well, it's going right back here, exactly where it went. So once again, you could do this all day long. All right? But the question is are you going to be able to handle the ups and downs internally, from minute to minute, from hour to hour? That's what you have to get good at. And you can. It just takes a little time. And that's why brand new people that start this, some of those brand new people do real well. Some of those brand new people are like, they struggle a little bit because of that very reason, because they watch it on lower time frames, which is fine if you know what you're looking at. All right. So let's get back to this. So we're looking at this as an opportunity of, maybe we can do a day trade situation. So let's go back and let's find when that day trade session started. Let's see here. Okay. Once again, make sure that we're all together. The break of the bar is is down here, correct? Yes. Okay, so your new day opens on a 4-hour, and it comes back. And look where it comes back to. Did you notice all of this resistance on daily? You may not have if you are not real experienced, because it might have only been 1 bar. It might have been just 2 bars. You might not have even noticed it. But let's put it on there now that we're on 4-hour. And let's see if we can find a big round number. I'd like to find one at the top, but I'm not. Well, when you're dealing with 1300, 1350 is way up here. Okay? So, from a big round number standpoint, nothing going on there. It's just for whatever reason, it's found resistance. So price comes back to there, and you make note of that. Now, what happens? We still haven't broke the bottom of the bar yet, so we're kind of suspicious from a standpoint of what we're normally used to doing. But we get the pullback, and we see the bearish outside bar, which is at the pullback to this area. So we're watching that. And let's see real quickly. Okay, so 8 is 12, 4. Okay, now let's go to 1 hour and let's find out what's going on. Let me get my time again here. You have to pay attention to this or you can't get back to it. 921, the 8. Okay, here we are. Now, I can tell you on my feed that this is 12 o'clock midnight my time, Central U.S. time. This is 9 p.m. New York time. Let me confirm that. And then the New York session opens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right in here, roughly in here. Okay, so we're watching the pullback. Here's the break of the pin bar. That's what we'd really like to see, is some kind of bar confirmation there at some point right there. But we're watching this, and we get that 4-hour bearish outside bar at about midnight, which is what, 2 hours before the London Open. So the London Open is close, is right in here. So here's your London Open. All right, so now we're looking at 1 hour, and New York session has opened. All right, so I'm looking at this. I'm thinking to myself, right in here is where I need to sit up and pay attention. Okay? And so let's see on 15 minute if anything happened. All right. Now, here's our New York Open. Okay, it breaks through. Now we're in an area that we know from experience that price is likely to go down. Now let me ask you something. Do you see a huge drawdown on the break of the pin bar, on the break of the 2-day pin bar? Do you see a huge pull? If you just entered on the break of the pin bar right at the New York Open, what happened? It blasted right through. It started to consolidate, and didn't draw down. It didn't give you any drawdown at all if you placed it behind the that entry. Let's put it right on the 2600 level. Okay, so you've watched your daily. You've seen your bar confirmation. You've decided to sit and watch for your day trading opportunity, and you're doing things like possibly putting your trend line the best you can, okay, to help you. All right, so you're watching. Some of you might say, well, it's broken it. If I enter, where is a logical place to put a stop? If I just enter right here, you know the New York is just open. You know you're going to probably get some pretty good price movement. You've got the bottom of your pin bar set. There's a big round number, and you just enter. And so where's a logical stop? Well, a logical stop is going to be your previous support and resistance based on some type of big round number or bar confirmation. So let's look. A little harder on this, isn't it? Okay, so some people could do this. Some people could see the 15-minute flip. Bar lows, bar high, trend line, okay? And they could put it behind that. Or they could put it behind here, okay? Once again, we're talking about some pretty doggone small stops, are we not? 17 pips, 35 pips, 50 pips, okay? But do you really need to do that? No, and I'm going to show you why. If you'll just sit and wait, price will show you what to do. It'll start to do this usually. It'll start to wind up, and it'll give you bar confirmations. Well, here's a bearish outside bar. If you wait till it gets to the trend line and you have some confluence, what do you get? Now price is giving you the best of all worlds. It's giving you a break of the bar you wanted. It's giving you the New York time zone. It's giving you a heads up of what might be coming. It's giving you another area of strong support, and then it gives you your breakout bar. Okay? And then what happens? You just hit a home run. And you just did it by following a way of doing things that will almost always keep you out of trouble. But here's the problem with this. People get jumpy. Would you have been okay if you would have just entered on the break? Yes. But would you have been able to have sustained this? Would you have been able to take your 20 pip and then watch this start happening? Okay? So all I'm saying is this is not always going to happen. But I'm telling you, if you're patient, it can and it will. And the biggest thing I can say to you is this. You don't have to day trade to make this happen. You don't have to sit around and stress yourself out day trading unless you just get so good that you enjoy it because you make money regularly. And the other thing is this, and this is only because I've been doing this so long. You know, some people will even do this. Some people will even go to 5 minute and look at what this did. All right? They'll even go down to 5 minutes and see if they can get bar confirmation here. But the bottom line is this. Once this happens, okay, once this breaks here, then there's no reason for you to be losing a bunch of money. Okay? You've got the trend line. You've got this up here, 25 pips. Now, here's another thing I wouldn't do, and I don't do. I don't take my risk off my pip values. What I like to do is this. And some people think this is nuts, probably. what I'll do is I will say, okay, I'm going to risk 3% on this, and but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play my risk based off of behind the 25 EMA in my case here, or I'm going to put it, back here at 35 pips or 50 pips. But in reality, what I'll do, I won't wait that long. If this busts out and comes back, I'm out. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I might get out here. I might take a little loss, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. So let me say that again. This is just what makes me comfortable. If I take a 3% risk on this, and it's based on a 35 pip stop, it is very common for me to end up taking a 12 pip loss if it happens. And what ends up happening when I do that? I'm looking at a very small loss. A very small loss. Okay, so you don't have to spend a dime getting good at this. And so that's what I'm always telling people is do this. Good Lord. Hold on, guys. That's from the Where's Price Going series. Let me do this. Okay. A new person can do this on weekly. They don't even have to wait for bar confirmations to practice this. Why not just do this? Why not just go to your weekly charts, find a good pivot zone, and let me find a good one here. All right, find a good pivot zone at a good round number. Let me find one. Let me find a recent one here. Hang on. Find something recently here. Let me find something that broke out. Hang on, I want to find a good one. But if I'm not careful, I'll lose it like I did on that last one and not be able to come back. Okay, now, remember how we talk about how price boxes up? Still not finding one I like. Hang on. I don't want to give you a good example. Here we go. New people, you can do this on every single time frame. Okay. I guarantee you there's divergence there. Hang on, let's look. Yeah. Okay. Look how price has made a new low, and MACD's made a high. So we're watching. We're watching this, and what do we get? We get a bullish outside bar right there, which is what we've been waiting for. All right. Now I see that one there, and that's fine, but I like to see it develop itself a little bit more. All right. So bullish outside bar, and now I want to watch and see what price does. And if you just want to take the break of this, then obviously here's where you're thinking first, and here's where you're thinking second. All right. So, but let's see if we got any kind of a pullback on this bar on a lower time frame. And this is tough for me to do sometimes, guys, because I have to pay attention that I don't screw up with my days. Especially with Sundays. Okay, 412, 419. 412, 419. Let's put one there. And let's put one where it actually stopped. Not for any particular reason other than you just know. Okay, we see the outside bar. We know we got divergence. What are we going to do? We're on a weekly chart. We may have a small account. So let's see if price told us what to do. Let's look. I have no clue what's coming. All right. 412, reminding myself here. I'm old. 412, 419. That was 15. 412, 419. All right. Here's the top of the bar. And here is 412, 419. Okay. Now, remember what we just said. This is the bottom. This is where price pulled back inside the bullish outside bar. The bullish outside bar is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might have been this one too. So, but do you see it encompassing these? Here is the weekly bullish outside bar. Somewhere in here. Okay? And there's the top of it. Now, it's interesting to note, is it not, that there's a daily pin bar here. You would have never known that that was there just looking at a weekly, would you? So you go to daily, and you see that. And you see all this resistance. So, and let's just see for the fun of it what's going on there. Well, my, looky there, big round number. Okay, so you see that. So just on a daily standpoint, now on this pair, then this is what makes where is price going for me to do for new people if I try to do multiple time frames. Okay, I just showed you a bullish weekly outside bar with divergence that's absolutely worth watching. And then when you go to look at it on daily, you get something that says short. So this is what I'm talking about, where you can do both. And so you get this pin bar at this wonderful location, but you don't have much room, do you? No, you don't. But where'd price go? Right where you would suspect. Right where it went. Okay, so let's get rid of that. I just want to point that out. All right, so you go to daily. Here's your pullback. Here's your pullback. This is where the bar pulled back inside the bullish outside bar. Now, if this had been a great pin bar, we haven't broken. Remember, we talked about that in the traditional way of doing this, we don't enter until we break the top of that outside bar, or we break the top of the bar in question. Okay, and so, but you're watching it on daily, and you're waiting for that to happen. And while you're waiting for it to happen, you see it come back, and you see it find an area of support and resistance that is on a daily now that you didn't see on the weekly. All right, see the bar highs. All right, just it's minor. You go to 4 hour, it'll really jump out at you. All right, so let's say for a second that let's say this bar right here came way down, and you have this big old nice pin bar here, and you say to yourself, well, now why would I wait? Why would I wait? Well, nobody says you have to wait. But what I'm always going to tell you is this, is you better be darn aware of, let me get rid of this. You better be darn aware of what's now on daily. Okay? If this was a true pin bar that had formed inside that weekly bullish outside bar, you better be darn prepared for this and not miss it. And you also better be prepared that price may get to the top, or that top of the part of the bar that we're looking for the breakout, and see this happen. Look at what happened. It got right to it, and it pulled back. Okay? And here's what happens to people when they're doing the where is price going. Things like this happen. Okay? They get pushed through, and they get entered, and then it comes rocking and back. And that's just part of the learning experience. And to get really good at it requires that you watch the lower time frames. And it's not hard. But what ended up happening here? Well, the best possible thing happened. Your break was a good break. okay? And your pullback never came back, and you got your runner. All right, so you had your breakthrough, you got your pullback, you got your push through again. The next bar does what? Comes back to the top of this bar. No big surprise. So catching this, the break of that weekly pin bar, watching daily, wouldn't have been that hard to catch 385 pips. But I wonder, now I wonder to myself, what happened here on 4 hour? Or what happened here on 4 hour? Could I have had an even better entry? Or do you see a bar confirmation here? We're just talking about strictly a breakout. There's no bar confirmation here to speak of, is there? I don't see one. I don't see one. I know we have our bullish outside bar on weekly, but all we just did was take a break of it. We didn't have a bar confirmation on actually the break of that on a lower time frame is what I'm saying. Okay? And that's when I talk about variations of that training method. When you do it in its simplest form, we do it simple. We do it from a standpoint of a break of the bar. And then we look for the first possible trouble area, which we're not looking at weekly, we're looking at daily. But on daily, it would be here. Okay? Now, where did it go? Okay. Where'd that first break go? Right where you would think. Okay? Now, it pulls back. Touch trades. This pullback. This is how people will do touch trades. They'll do their touch trades here. And that's fine, but once again, it's riskier. It just is. What I like to see on touch trades are things like this where I see that it's held. Okay? So let's do this. Let's see if we had any kind of bar confirmation that might have given us a heads up prior to the break. I'm going to get rid of this so I don't confuse myself. Maybe I better not. No, I'll leave that. Okay, so we know that this was where that pullback happened inside the weekly bullish outside bar. We know right here is where it broke. Okay, let's see if anything happened on 4 hour in there. I'm just assuming I got to go forward. Yeah. Okay, now 4 hour. All right, looks a lot different, doesn't it? Okay, first thing I'm going to do is this. Once I see that pullback, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to line this up best I can. And then when I see this, I'm going to hit it with that. Okay? And then I'm going to start looking for confluence. Can I find confluence? Can I find any reason at all to take this trade before it breaks the outside of the bar? Okay? And then subsequently, once it does break, can I find a place to do that? Now, what I'd be doing here is seeing if there's a New York or a London session time going on, if I'm good enough to be doing that. You know, I mean, I know I've got a weekly thing going on, and I've seen the daily. All right, so I see this happening, and price is starting to head up. Now, do I see anything that's tipping me off? Does anybody see anything that's tipping me off that something might be coming? It's there. Does anybody see any bar confirmation that says something might be coming on 4 hour? It's right here. And don't poo-poo it, because it really, if you'll go spend some chart time, you'll see many times it's saying it's setting off a siren, saying, "Here we go, here we go." So here's the 4 hour, and right up to the top of that weekly bullish outside bar. All right, so all we've had to do is watch it. All right, that's all we've had to do is watch it, and you can do that in a lot of different ways. Now, what else do I see here? Well, now I'm seeing internal pivot zones on 4 hour. First thing I want to do is look and see if it's a big round number. Okay, now look, this is important right here. What happened here? Price pulled right back to a place that I promise that you could take blind and have a better chance of having success. You could take 1,000 traders that have been trading for 5 years, and I promise you, if you get good at what I'm showing you right here, you could just blindly take that right there and have a higher success rate than 1,000 traders. I know, because I've been doing it for years. All right, so what would I do if I saw this? Would I just blindly take it? Nope, I'd be down at 1 hour looking at it. All right, that'd just be me. I'd want to know, is that in a London or New York session? Is it giving me reason to think that maybe I might have some real price movement? Okay, I just want to point that out. I'm not going to go look at it close right now. But anyway, I'm watching. I see the bullish outside bar, and I'm thinking, all right, this might be fixing to happen. All right, so, and it does. And now, what's important about this is look at the resistance that's built up on the 4 hour. The bullish outside bar is telling you all this resistance is not going to last. We're headed up, more than likely. Okay, so that's what happens. So now, do you take a break of the top of that bar? Well, if you're looking at this from just strictly a beginner standpoint, the weekly bullish outside bar, would you have any idea to do what I just showed you? No. You gotta learn that. Is anything I just showed you covered? Is this chart covered with indicators or a bunch of crap? No. It's just 1, 2, 3. It's as simple as taking your time and learning it. All right. So you get your break, and once again, just like this right here, you got a better chance of making a profit and having success by just blindly taking a breakout after what you've seen here than 99% of everybody else that's looking at a chart fixing to hit the trade button. And that's the truth. All right, so let's do this. Let's look at the break on a 1 hour. And I don't want to lose myself here. And I'm likely to do it if I'm not careful. Okay. Can I get rid of this? Yes, I think so. Okay. So here's the bar that broke. 424. Okay. 424. Got my arrow there. We know that the break area was right here. Okay. We'll know where it's at when we do it now. All right, we can see the trend line. Let's see if let's do our best to find, well, we know whether it's a big round number or not, we're on 4 hour. That's our resistance. Okay, let's go to 1 hour. Make sure I can get there. And let's go see. Okay. 1 hour chart. Okay, once again, we're right close to the London Open. I mean, I think that's it. Pretty sure that's it. Okay, I keep track of that in a different way that I won't even go into. But does anybody see something? I know it's small, but does anybody see anything? Yeah, a little tiny pin bar here. okay, on 1 hour. Okay? So now once you're clear of the weekly setup, what do you do? Well, in this case, your initial break went 50. Not many of you are going to be sitting on 1 hour, are you? You might be after this video, but I might also point out on 1 hour, bullish outside bar here. But look at the old resistance. So 1 hour resistance, support. It really jumps out, doesn't it? All right, so you've got your break, and in this case, once again, you get no drawdown, none, just by taking a break. But the thing to be aware of here is this: you followed it until you got to a point that something gave you a signal that it's coming, and that you're likely to step up and watch. And then if you want to drop down to 1 hour and you're good enough at day trading, then go see if it lines up at a session. Here's the New York after it broke. Here's the New York session after it broke. Okay? And then it developed support right here. And so you see this happen. You at least want to do this. After that happens, you want to do this. Let's go find our big round numbers. All right, there it is. Now, look at what happened. Does that not give you a book? Your initial push has given you a push above the 5100 level, and now you can put your stop. All right, in a logical place, and I don't care what time frame you're on. You've got a logical place, and then if you sit and watch 1 hour, you're going to watch yourself go up and down and up and down. And I don't, unless you're day trading, I don't suggest that. So let's do this. Let's look at the pullback. What that looked like on a daily. I don't very often drop down this much, guys. It's difficult to make sure I'm not goofing here on you. Okay. All right, that was internal, right? That was internal. And it did eventually come back. All right? It did eventually come back. But if you'd been watching, the lower time frames, you would have been able to manage it in a better way, right? So, anyway, does that make sense to anybody? I mean, I probably should not be doing a full drop down into 1 hour, but I just want to show you that there is a very easy way to do this, and using weekly, just the simple way to do it. But there's also ways to do it in a way that is more, I hate to use the word complicated, but you can also do this. This is a great way to practice and a great way to find great trades. Put your trend line on, identify a trend, and do this. Find your big round number and see if it lines up with a pivot. Now, look where price came back. Now, what do we have here? We have Confluence. We have Confluence. Let's do it at other places after we knew that we had a trend going. Okay, same thing here. Okay, trend line, all these bar highs, big round number. Okay, look at the pin bar here on weekly. So what you want to do is watch this, identify your Confluence, identify your confluence, and then drop down if you want in your lower time frames and see if you get a bar confirmation there. Okay? And then if you think you're a day trader or you want to give it a try, this is where you want to day trade. Okay? You don't want to day trade. You don't want to find yourself day trading unless there's a reason. In my opinion, that's where people get in trouble. All right? Wait until you can see places where price is going or is at that you think you have a real good idea that it's fixing to go, as in this case, down, and then go try to find your day trade entries. Okay? But starting out on weekly and then using this to find a daily bar confirmation is the name of the game. Just finding confluence and then using your bar lows and your bar highs as a way of staying in your trades. You know, if you had stayed in this bar the whole way and it had gotten to this bar low, where's price first likely to pull back to? It's likely to pull back to right here. Okay? You're a trader and you just let's say you had your daily confirmation here and you took the trade short and you ended up here and you're scared to death. This right here means the end of the line. Price is coming back to the trend line. And look where it did it almost every time. Did it not? Exactly. So, but sometimes it won't. So how do you keep yourself in the if it gives you the opportunity to stay in the trade, well, then take that opportunity. And this gave you the opportunity. This bar low right here, all you had to do was put your stop right here, and you stayed in it, okay? And then you got to push below this bar. Where is price likely to pull back? If you're just strictly watching weekly, where is price likely to pull back? It's likely to pull back to this bar low, which it did, okay? And depending on where you put it, if it was real tight, you got stopped out. If you didn't, if you put it here, you're fine, all right? Then it goes to here. Now you got to look over. And you got to see what's next to it, okay? And I'm sure I could find something else. But look at where it breaks through. Look where price pulls back. Okay, you see this, all right, you see this. You got two choices. Put your stop here, right behind here, or put your stop here, right behind here. One of them hit it. Let me get rid of these. Okay, broke through, came back. One of them went here. You put your stop here, you probably came close. You put it behind here, it didn't hit it. And it went way on down and way on down. Okay? And then, so what do you got left? Well, at this point, you're probably looking at a lower time frame. If you're not, then you got your stop here, and it's over. And you just managed yourself. You just managed yourself into 750 pips. All right? I mean, was that complicated? I didn't see a thing complicated about it. I mean, was it not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I mean, did every single bar move in a way that gave you the opportunity, using the previous bar or another bar next to it, a way to stay in the trade and know what the heck you're doing instead of just guessing? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to quit gambling. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to quit gambling. So we practice our price predictions off of our bars. We can also practice them off of our trend lines. And if we're smart, we find confluence by finding old support and resistance, at these bar highs, bar lows, and then we can stick strictly with that time frame. We can run variations if we want, and drop down to daily and refine it. We can run the weekly. We can run the daily. You can have unlimited demo accounts. And here's where I'm going with all of this. Once you do this for 6 months, it's I don't know how after 6 months of doing this that any of you can't get to a point where you can just about, regardless of any level of grade of setup, hit it at an 80-90% rate. And then during that 6 months, you will learn, and please listen to this, during that 6 months of practice, what you're going to learn is this, and this is what I always get asked. What is a great setup, and what is a B setup, and what is a C setup? And here's the answer to that. I could trade your C setup like an A setup because of my experience. Okay? So you have to get to a point where you recognize your A setups. And you do that by practice. And some people aren't willing to practice. And it's just that simple. And is it easier on the longer time frames? Absolutely, because you have more time. Is it okay to do it on lower time frames? Absolutely. And if you will use your longer time frames to show you when the best time is to day trade, you're going to quit losing a lot that you're currently losing. You really are. Even if you do something as simple as this, even if you see this going on, even if you say to yourself, I just see a bunch of resistance going on, I think I'm going to go watch that during the London, New York session and see if I see anything up here that gives me the opportunity to day trade. And I guarantee you, let's look at that on daily. I guarantee you that if you do it, if you approach it that way, and you save your day trading opportunities for instances like this that make sense, okay? And you think you got a better chance during a day trading session to have price go where you want it to go up here where it's repeatedly shown that it's going down? You think you got a better chance of that than trading here? Yeah, you do. You sure do. You absolutely got a lot better chance. And I'd venture to guess that a lot of you that are actually fairly decent at a 1 hour chart quit doing this and start doing things like this, waiting until it's the right time. The market shows you the right time, and save your day trading for that. Then you're going to find that you finally found the key to a growing trading account instead of hit and miss. Would be my opinion. So, how long have I been going? Anybody watching? I haven't paid any attention. Are you kidding me? Oh no. Mike, should I cut this thing up into 2 videos? Well, here's the thing. I started feeling really tired, and I thought to myself, I hope I haven't been going 30 minutes, but I started feeling tired. I'm going to finish up by saying this. I don't think anything I said was complicated. I know that I got a little bit more in depth for new people, but I think I showed the gist of that. New people. Let me say this to you. You can watch this video and try to do what I go down and do the day trading stuff and do all of that, but you can do the just the simple where is price going thing. Like looky here, new people, look at here. Here's a 2-day pin bar. Okay, once again, 2-day pin bar. Open and close, these two bars combined create one bar that's a pin bar. Okay, in the truest sense of doing it, we trade the break and we see where it goes. We try to judge where it's going, you know, with big round numbers and see if we get lined up with stuff. And let's see what we got here. Okay. On a daily. Okay, new people, here's what you want to do. Look at the top of the bar. First thing you want to notice is your big round numbers. Next thing you want to notice is your bar highs and bar lows above it, and make those your first targets. Look at the bar lows, look at the bar highs. Make that target 1. Okay? And then look at your next one. Bar high, and that's where it goes. And then pay attention to your pullbacks and where they go. Okay? Like this bar right here, pulling back to here. That's all you need to do, new people. That's all you need to do. Do that for a couple of months or a couple of weeks or whatever until you get comfortable with it. And then we'll take the next step of the training and beginning to get just a little bit more in depth. And the most complicated way that I can possibly think of that I trade is pretty much what I showed you. That's what I do. That's what I do. And I just get real picky. And I'm going to finish the video with this, and I know many of you have heard it many times. If you have a calculator sitting next to you, I want you to get it. Please. I'll give you a second to do it. Get you a calculator or a piece of paper or whatever. All right, I want you to take 1,000 times 3%, and you get $30, right? I want you to divide that into 50. That 50 being your 50 pip stop. Okay. Once again, let's do it one more time. $1,000 is your account size times 3% is your risk is $30. You got a 50 pip stop. It gives you 60 cents a pip, correct? Yes. Okay. Now, your first target here. This is a daily. Your first target, let's just go ahead and call it 50 pips. It's a little less, but let's go. Okay, times it times 50, guys. What do you got? What do you got? It's $30, right? $30. All right. I know for a fact that doesn't mean squat to any of you. Now do this. Do this. Take 100,000 times 3% divided by 50 is $60 a pip. Now multiply that times 50. That's $3,000. Now think about this. Do you think that you might as well change your name if you're trading those separate accounts in relation to how you're going to trade? If you are trading a small account and you see this make you that $30, you are going to do nowhere near what you're going to do if it's worth $3,000. So here's my point. If you're practicing or playing real with that small amount of money, you need to understand that when you get to a large account, you're going to be a lot more conservative and you're going to be a lot better trader. Okay? So do this. Please, do this. You want to play your small account? Go ahead. But do this. Open yourself up a large demo account and pretend like it's real the best you can. And when you do take your trades and you see your 50 pip move make you $3,000, take it and watch what happens to that account. And then you're going to know. Then you're going to know that when you do get to a point when you can finally have that 50 pip move and listen to what I'm about to say, please. When you get to that point where you can do this 3 times a month because you no longer need to trade 100 times, when you can do that 50 pip move 3 times a month and make yourself $10,000, well, that's when it all changes. That's when it all comes together. And that's when you finally start growing a trading account. Now, are there people that can do the small account and take the 30? Yes, there are. And man, do I admire them, because I sure couldn't. That's how I blew account after account after account. And that's why I quit. And that's why I spent 2 years, a little over 2 years, raising enough to where when that happened, and that made me, and I didn't get it to where it was worth $3,000, trust me, but I got it to a point to where it meant enough to me where I would take it, and I started trading just several times a month. That's when it finally came together for me, and that's when it'll come together for you. And yes, day trading is fun, and yes, you can do it, and yes, you can be good at it if you will be picky as to when you do it. All right? So, man, I'm fried, guys. I really am.